Gets the lineal ride to work. Here we go. That way, all right. Well, as I first started out today, you saw that car drive by. It was with a woman I'd never seen before. Seems as though that's on purpose. So it would shut me up. A lot of the time, words come out of people's mouths just so I'll shut up. I feel like shit. And stop talking. And if that's on purpose, then I'm powerless. They're inside my head. They know everything that I've ever known or done or whatever. And they'll win. In any social interaction, if they want to hurt me, I'll end up hurt. That's what scares me about the world. If they want to steal my car, they'll steal my car. If they want to steal this bike, they'll steal it. If they want to talk me out of the shirt on my back, it'll end up theirs. They'll win. Because it's happened before. I sold weed for 2 months, although I didn't really do any of the selling. And less than $1,000 I made was stolen in a backpack inside my house that only 3 people in the whole world would have had knowledge of. So either one of them did it, or one of those people that are beings that can see me when I'm alone and wants to start shit. There's a Pablo Francisco joke. If anybody knows who that is, most people probably don't. Talking about Jerry Springer. He said Jerry Springer looks up in the morning and says, straightens his tie and says, I'm gonna start some shit today. And that's what he does. It seems to me that's what this world craves, is starting some shit. Or stuff. Is that gonna rule me out of YouTube? I don't care. I haven't posted anything, so it doesn't matter. But that's what it does. It splits us up in groups and then shows us how we're different. And that means that part that we're different, we're going to compare, and when that part is worth killing the other side by one of the sides, murder will ensue. Because my sense of self is more important than your life. Anyway, whatever. Small little things like that have happened. That was actually the biggest one, the backpack being stolen. I think that was $700 and some bucks, but it made me stop selling weed because I ain't gonna get shit stolen every month or whatever it was, and the cops aren't going to be able to find a backpack that had $700 in it. They wouldn't even give a shit. They care more about, people dying and whatnot. Which is fine by me. It's more important than a backpack with a small amount of cash. And back to that, my sense of self is more important than your life. I think you could extend that. Not just to murdering people, but when someone threatens your existence because one of the things you cherish about yourself is absolutely wrong in their eyes, you'll run away from them. I know I have. The only girlfriend I had as an adult, I think she was being like Jerry Springer, trying to start stuff because she had fought with everyone else she'd ever known. Her parents fought, so did mine, but it always terrified me, made me sad. I think they don't love each other because of the crazy stuff they'd say. They never hit each other or anything, and I'm sure all couples fight like that. But anytime that's happening, I don't feel love. Not one little bit. Doesn't matter who's yelling at who. There's no love there. You can say it's passion or whatever. You're wrong. It's misplaced emotion. I'm going to say majority of the time. I can't give a percentage. I can guess, but it'd be totally made up. I'm just going to say majority. When you're angry about something, you're not angry about whatever you're talking about. You're angry about something else that you didn't have the courage to say or the opportunity to say or something like that. Maybe you're sad. It's possible too. I don't know. I haven't had any psychological education, so I'm just a dude. Weird fact, by the way. Before I ever saw The Big Lebowski, I didn't know what it was. It was a movie about drug stuff, so I never really was interested in watching it. And some guy, the first job I had out of college, he was a consultant working on the technology that I ended up learning to go make more money outside of that job when I should have just stayed. Could have worked 10 hours a week. I mean, I would have had to sit in the chair for 30 to 40 hours a week, but it would have been 10 hours of work. And at that point, I was in the mid-60s or something. And that was 15 years ago, 16 years ago. Anyway, whatever. Where was I going? Oh yeah. He was a consultant. And maybe he did this to everybody. I don't know. But he used to call me the dude. He'd say, "You're the dude." And I'd say, "No, you're the dude." I had no idea what he was talking about. If he was referring to the fact that I'm the laziest man alive, as is a quote from that movie, I don't know what, 30 seconds in? I don't remember. But he might be right. But the brain that I had allowed it. I never had to learn anything. Learning requires effort. It requires initially, I don't understand what this means. I have to learn it. See, I never had to do that in grade school or high school, not until college. And I'm violating my not getting in the way of traffic rule, and I'm holding stuff up right now. Which upsetting to me. I don't think anybody else would care about it. But what was I talking about? The dude? Ah, yes. Back to me not learning. Okay, grade school. Didn't have to learn. Teacher said it, I remembered. I absorbed. Didn't learn. And everybody says, you're so smart. Whatever, man. No, I wasn't. I just remembered stuff. I had more RAM inside my brain than you do in yours. And I could convert that RAM into long-term memory better than you could do that with yours. That's all that is. Is that more processing power? Is that more activated neurons? I have no friggin' clue. I don't really care. That's all I know. I was like a sponge. I absorbed. And then, so, grade school, high school, I absorbed. I absorbed and picked the easiest classes that I could pick. And that ended up with me being number 4 in our class. I always joked I was shooting for number 3 because I didn't want to make a speech. And that was a lie. If I could have been number 1, being as lazy as I would have been number 1. So, all through high school, I absorbed. I got 2 B's the whole time. I actually got a B in 5th grade, officially, because I was a coward at the end of the year. At the end of the year, the teachers said they had screwed up some of the grades and that the science grades in that class were messed up. So if you think your grade was wrong, come and say it and we'll see if we can get it fixed. And I was afraid my grade was wrong because it was a B. Science in 5th grade was remembering stuff and vomiting out that memory. But I didn't say anything. So I got a B in science in 5th grade. And then I got 1 in speech and in history in high school. And I'm pretty sure the 1 in speech was the teacher being spiteful. She was an arrogant lady because of her debate and forensics prowess. They went to nationals, whatever. Being good at acting is just one person's opinion. To be good at acting, you gotta be able to be what you aren't. And how would anyone know what an actor isn't? Unless you know him personally. But that's just a dude's opinion. Anyway, back to my speech grade. Whew. At the end of the class, well, I was terrified talking to people. Still am. Or my face would probably be on this camera right now. But it's not. Because I'm terrified of judgment and you seeing the real me. And I forgot to brush my teeth today. I only brush my teeth like once a week. FYI. Still have all of them. Anyway, the 89% I got in speech. The first speech I did was on whatever I wanted it to be on. I think we had to pick a person, and I picked Rick Pitino because he was my favorite basketball coach. And I was really excited to talk about that man. And I knew a sizable amount about him because I paid attention to him. Anyway, I got a 95 on that speech. The rest of them were about boring stuff that I didn't really care about. Even though we picked our topics. But at the end, a lot of cops at college today. At the end of the class, before she gave me my final grade, she pulled me aside and said the following. It might be verbatim. I don't remember. But this, to me, is a high school teacher being a total B, being a total C, a D, an F and A. How about any of those? That's not educating the youth. That's having your arrogance tell a child that he made the wrong decision because he should have been on your team. Anyway, she said, "You're smart enough to take debate." And that was it. And then she gave me my 89%. I thought that was mean. Actually, I didn't think of it at the time. I was just like, I got a B? What the heck? Now it didn't matter. I could have got a Q in that class. It wouldn't have mattered now. What did those grades get me? They got me money that I lost after a year and unearned admiration. I didn't learn. I absorbed, as I mentioned already. Oh, and I totally forgot. I'm obsessing about myself, so I forgot to think about chewing tobacco, so I skipped the convenience store. It was going to be a decision, but I took the decision out of it. Or I didn't. Well, yeah, I did. Because, talking about myself. Anyway, that was my one B. The other B was in history. This teacher didn't teach either. I mean, we gotta screw around for an hour every other day for 2 semesters. But he'd write his notes on the board, give us a packet of worksheets, and leave the room for 85% of the time. And when I went crazy, he was in one of my first psychotic dreams. And it was like a drunken barn dance, like in South Park. Only it wasn't a cartoon. Okay, so that was my high school, and I absorbed my way all the way through high school. I didn't learn anything. And I skipped a grade in math when I think I was in 5th grade. Oh, here's the other time in 5th grade I was too scared to speak up. We had standardized tests like every school in this country does. And our 5th grade teacher decided to grade our standardized tests. And she'd tell us what we did wrong. And I was like, all right, okay, that's fine. And on the standardized test, I said standardized like 10 times. Or like 3, I don't know, whatever. And I missed 2 questions on the standardized math portion of the test. And they were dumb mistakes. I could have been supernaturally induced, but what do I know? Number 2 always means Jesus to me, so when it was supernaturally induced, they knew 30 years from then I was going to think that meant Jesus. Anyway, I remember this. I will always remember this. I was up at her desk, and she was looking down at somebody else's work, and she didn't move her head. She only moved her eyes. Looked up at me and said, "Well, did you correct them?" And I did not stand up for the fact that I thought you said, wouldn't that be, or for the thought I had that, wouldn't that be cheating? I did not say that, because she was a teacher, so I corrected him and cheated on a standardized test in 5th grade to get a perfect score in the math test section. You know how much that's worth now? Nothing. To the possible additional funding that it gave that school, nothing to me except a memory of when I didn't challenge an adult who I thought was wrong. And then that's it. So we're almost there. Only left an hour early today, so should make it on time. It only takes 30 minutes. And I didn't stop today. Okay, so back to absorbing. When I made it to college, I could no longer absorb because I chose, oh wait, high school still. I skipped a math grade. And when we made it to my senior year, a kid in the class below me skipped 2 grades, so he was with me. And now I think that was supernaturally induced also. Telling him he's behind me, I'm with you. Yeah, but if you're the evil one, I want you to go away, bro. Whatever. Okay. Calculus class. Our school only went up to pre-calculus. So calculus. When we got to my senior year, his junior year, and that dude actually became a family doctor, so he did something positive with his life, maybe. I don't know. Okay, after like the 4th or 5th lesson, I don't remember which one, we needed help because it was calculus and we were teenagers and we weren't, super geniuses, although he worked hard and I didn't. went to our math teacher to ask for help. Hey, can you help us with this? We don't know what we're doing. And he said, no, I can't help you with that. So we went back to the library, sat at our computers, didn't say a word the rest of the year. Not a single word. 2 girls joined us in that class. They didn't say words either. And I didn't learn calculus. I didn't talk to him. I didn't try and figure it out with him. I went through the questions on the computer and figured out that there were like 20 questions, and then they'd have a test and it'd be 10 of those questions or something like that. So I memorized all the answers after I scrolled through them a couple hundred times, because it was an hour and 20 minutes or whatever every other day. And then I'd get 100% on the test. Got an A+ in that class, didn't learn a thing, except I had to cheat. Although, could you technically call it cheating? I don't think you could. Anyway, so when I got to college, went into engineering, I had to learn, and I couldn't. I bumbled through 3 semesters. Well, I got a 2.7 or something my first year, which lost me all my scholarships, all $3,000 a year. Wasn't that much, wasn't even half. And in my 4th semester, I dropped a whole bunch of classes. I mean, I was depressed, but it's because I didn't know how to learn. I didn't know how to put in effort and learn, and I still don't know. I still don't do that today. I've had a piano in my house in the place I've been living for multiple years, don't know how to play it. I had a guitar for 20 years, threw it away. It was a really nice guitar. Didn't know how to play it. I could play like 2 or 3 songs. But that's what it is. If it's hard, I quit. And life allowed me to do that because I switched from engineering to business. And again, I went back to absorbing. Got a job I didn't deserve. Went back to absorbing. Learned something that most people wouldn't be able to absorb. They'd have to learn it. And got arrogant, thought I was worth more money, and left. So, there's my life. Still don't know how to learn. And the only thing I absorb now is garbage to everyone else. Anyway, we're here. Ride to work. Complete. Schizolenial out.